Hello and welcome back to the Gipton War Room, also known as my garage, for my second bolt action battle report video. It's June 1944, we're in Normandy, and this time the American infantry must fight their way through the bocage for the attack on Breville and Hill 123. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone that watched and subscribed to my first video. There were some good comments and critiques on there. Again, I've taken them on board with a view to improve as I go. Again, I'm doing these videos not as it's not going to be a Patreon channel or anything like that. I just enjoy, obviously, putting the videos out there. I'm not going to be able to do one every week, obviously because of my job and what have you. I aim to do one every month or so. And again, it's purely for enjoyment, and that's so I can share so that the people can obviously watch and maybe take some ideas and enjoy themselves. Right, let's have a tour of tonight's battlefield. Right, as before, tonight's game is played on a 6x4 table. This time, however, I'm using a Geek Villain autumn mat, which is laid over some polystyrene just to add some contours. Obviously, we have hill 1, 2, 3 here, and then again you can just see here there's a low ridge. In terms of other terrain we've got, again as before, we've got my bocage sections which I made, and the rest is lichen. For the purposes of the game, the bocage sections themselves will block line of sight and also act as hard cover. The woods, again, will be classed as rough going and will block line of sight unless you're in them. The town of little village of Breville itself, these are actually obviously the warlord plastic buildings that I've kind of stuck on some bases, added some extra little bits of rubble. They will actually be again counted as ruin buildings for this game. They will block line of sight, and in terms of any vehicles that come along the road, again it will actually count as an obstacle, so you can't run on the road as you come through the village itself. Okay, the American forces will be entering along this edge of the table. And of course they will be advancing towards the German positions. The Americans have three key objectives. They are obviously the town of, or the ruined village of Breville itself. There is a wood just behind that, that's objective 2. Again, that is also flanking the main objective, which is of course hill 1, 2, 3, just in the background. Again, all three objectives shown with the red flag markers. The German forces will be defending this table edge. Half of their units will be deployed on the table at the start of the battle, and again the defending line that they will be holding will be along the top of hill 1, 2, 3, along the bocage hedge here, through the woods and to the road. The German aim is to obviously halt the American advance and to deny them obviously the high ground of hill 1, 2, 3. The defending Germans are 927 points with 7 order dice. It's a scratched together defensive force led by Oberleutnant Hans Schiefer. It consists of 2 8-man veteran grenadier squads, one of which is armed with 2 light machine guns, 1 9-man regular grenadier squad. There's a regular medium machine gun team, a regular Stug 3 and a regular 88mm flak 36 with 7 men and a spotter. The American forces, the Fighting 77th. They consist of 12 order dice, totaling 1,158 points. They're led by a veteran captain, Captain Hagman, who is in fact supported by 2 men, and there is also a First Lieutenant Lee supported by 1 man. The rest of the force consists of 3 regular 12-man rifle sections. There has a sniper team, 2 bazooka teams, 2 medium machine gun teams, 1 mortar team and spotter, and obviously we're supported on this occasion by a M5 light Stuart tank. Okay, so just prior to turn 1 in the deployment phase, the Germans have set up 4 units on their defensive line. They have a medium machine gun on the top of hill 1, 2, 3 along with the spotter. The flak 88mm is set up with a really good field of view, again in the middle pointing right down towards Breville. Captain Oberleutnant Schiefer is in the woods, as is one of the regular 9-man grenadier section. Just a quick one in relation to the lichen. The lichen is soft cover and it doesn't block line of sight. Again, I put quite a lot of it around the table. As before with the previous game, it's also obviously to cover the hedges of the edges of the road. But again, it is soft cover, doesn't block line of sight, and again just adds to the aesthetic of the table. Right, on to turn 1. Okay, turn 1, and the first 2 dice out the bag were German, so the 2 Panzer Grenadier units off table both went down. The next was American, and a US infantry section runs onto the table. American die, a machine gun team runs on from the table edge. The next die was German, so the Stug-off table went down. The next again was American, and another machine gun team runs on from the edge of the board and joins its fellow unit by the bocage. American die, and Lieutenant Lee runs on to join the machine gun teams. American die, the sniper team runs on to the table. German die, the Panzer Grenadier unit advances from the woods. German die, the medium machine gun team go on to ambush. German die, and the 88mm goes on to ambush. American die, the mortar team runs on. American die, a bazooka team runs on the table. American die, and another bazooka team runs on up to the bocage. German die, and Oberleutnant Schiefer advances to the edge of the wood. The last 4 dice were all American, and it saw the Stuart just do a single run order along the road, carefully keeping out of sight of the 88. Captain Hagman and a rifle section also advanced up to the bocage on the right flank, and another rifle section joined Lieutenant Piet Lee on the left flank, again carefully keeping out of sight of the spotter and the 88 as the Americans now push forward. The end of the turn sees all the American units advancing on the table, both sides of the road towards Breville and the waiting Germans. On to turn 2. Okay, turn 2, and the 88 and German machine gun both remain on ambush. The first die out the bag was German, and the Stug passed its order test, enters the table and ran up to the edge of the bocage. American die, and the sniper team continue their run. American die, and the bazooka team also perform a run order, keeping the bocage between them and the MG42 on the hill. American die, and Captain Hagman issues a snap 2, ordering the bazooka team and rifle sections to advance over the bocage towards the woods, but still sheltered from view from the Germans on the hill. German die, and the Panzer Grenadiers advance across the road and take up position behind the bocage. American die, and the rifle section makes a desperate run for the wood over the low ridge, triggering the ambush of the German 88, which fires HE direct line of sight over long range, needing 4s to hit. This could be devastating. The 88 fires, needing a 4. That's a lucky escape for the Americans. American die, which goes to First Lieutenant Lee, who issues a snap 2 order to the 2 machine gun teams, and they all advance over the bocage. American die, and the spotter advances into the wood. German die, the Panzer Grenadier squad passes its order test and runs onto the table to the top of Hill 123. American die, and the rifle section on the left flank run towards Breville, but in doing so trigger the ambush from the medium machine gun team on the hill. The MG42 team is just in range and gets to fire at the Americans, needing 6s because of the long range and intervening hard cover. The MG42 team fires using Hitler's buzzsaw, gets 6 shots, needing 6s. That's 2 hits, so that's at least a pin on the American unit. Can they convert those hits into casualties, needing 4s because the US are regular? They can, so that's 1 pin and 1 casualty on the US unit. A German die was drawn, but the Panzer Grenadier unit off table failed its order and so went down and didn't come on. The next die was an American, and the M5 Stuart advanced up to Breville and fires its main gun at the 88 and its Hull medium machine gun at the German medium machine gun team on the hill. It's a brave move by the Stuart tank that's going to need 7s to hit the medium machine gun team on the hill, and also 7 with its main gun to hit the 88mm flak. The M5 fires its medium machine guns first, 5 shots, needing 7s. 1 possible. No. It now has 1 shot with its main gun on the 88, also needing a 7. No. No hits. The last eye is German, and Oberleutnant Schiefer advances out of the wood. The end of the turn sees the Americans continue to advance on both flanks towards Breville, as the Germans now begin to receive reinforcements of their own. On to turn 3. Start of turn 3 and the first die is a German die, and the 88 fires again at the Stuart, needing only a 3. This could be devastating if it hits. The 88 fires its super heavy anti-tank round at the Stuart, needing only a 3. It hits. Stuart has a defence of 8. 88 has a penetration of 7. The damage is... it's massive damage. Rolling 2 dice for the massive damage. And it's immobilised. So the Stuart's immobilised with 2 pins. It's now a sitting duck. Not a good start to the turn for the Americans. German die, and the Stug fires its main gun with a HE round at the US infantry running over the low ridge, needing a 4. The Stug fires its main gun, needing a 4 for the intervening soft cover. That's a miss. Another escape for the Americans. American die, and the rifle unit passed its test, lost its pin, and ran for cover behind the bocage. German die, and the MG42 team open up on the Americans behind the hedge, needing 6s. The MG42 team gets 6 shots, needing 6s. No hits. American die, and the sniper team advance 6 inches and take careful aim and fire at the medium machine gun team on the hill, needing only a 3. The sniper fires, ignoring all modifiers, needing only a 3 to hit. That's a hit. Can it convert that into a wound? Needing a 4 to wound because they're regulars. Missed, but a pin on the machine gun unit. American die. The spotter in the wood can see the 88. Calls out the coordinates to the mortar that brings down fire on it, needing a 6. American medium mortar fires, needing a 6. It's a miss, but it's a 5 next turn. German die, and the Grenadiers fire at the Americans just crossing the ridge. The rifles are just out of range, but the German LMG gets 5 shots, needing 5s. The German LMG fires Hitler's buzzsaw, getting 5 shots, needing 5s. Long range and intervening soft cover. That's 2 hits. Can those hits be turned into casualties? No, it's a pin on the unit. American die, and Captain Hagman runs up to put himself in a better position to issue orders and support his troops. American die, and the bazooka team on the right flank run up to the edge of the woods. American die, and the rifle section also run up to the edge of the woods, joining the bazooka team. American die, and the bazooka team on the left flank run up towards the Stuart. American die, and the rifle section passes its order test with the assistance of Captain Hagman, loses its pin marker, and advances into the wood. American die. The Stuart passes its order test, loses a pin, and fires its hull and turret machine guns at the 88. 10 shots, needing 7s. The Stuart opens fire, 10 shots, needing 7s. 1 possible. No, that's a miss. German die, and the Grenadier off table passes its command test and runs onto the table to join the battle. American die, and First Lieutenant Lee gives another snap to order to both machine gun teams and they all run up to the bocage to join the other units sheltering there. The last two ordered ice are German, and the veteran grenadiers run down hill 123, while Oberleutnant Schiefer moves up to join the Stug and the grenadier section behind the bocage. Okay, the end of the turn sees the Germans still in a strong position, but the Americans are steadily advancing, and matters are going to come to a head in the next turn. On to turn 4. Start turn 4, and the first die was American, and the Stuart passed its order test, removed its pin, and is going to fire all its machine guns again at the 88 on the hill, this time only needing 6s. The Stuart fires its 2 medium machine guns. It has 10 shots, needing 6s. 1 possible, so that's at least a pin on the gun. Now needs a 5 because it's a regular crew, but the gun shield gives a +1. No casualties, but 1 pin on the gun. German die, and the 88 passes its order, loses its pin, and will fire back at the Stuart, needing only a 3. The 88 fires, and it's a hit. Again, penetration 7, defence 8. It's a massive, massive hit. And that is destroyed. The Stuart is blown to smithereens by the 88. American die, and the rifle section runs across the road and takes cover behind the bocage. American die, and First Lieutenant Lee orders both machine gun teams with a snap to order to open fire on the German machine gun team on the hill. It's going to be 10 shots. The US machine gun teams open up on the German unit, which goes down, meaning they now need 7 to hit. That's potentially 2 hits. That's 1 hit. So the unit gets another pin. Can it cause a casualty? No, but another pin on that machine gun unit. The US machine gun teams open up on the German unit, which goes down, meaning they now need 7 to hit. That's potentially 2 hits. That's 1 hit. So the unit gets another pin. Can it cause a casualty? No, but another pin on that machine gun unit. German die, and the veteran Panzer Grenadier unit advances down hill 123 behind the bocage and opens fire on the Americans with 2 light machine guns and 3 rifles. The 3 rifles fire at long range, needing 7s. No hits. The 2 light machine guns open fire, needing 6s. They've moved, which is a +1. They're not over half range, but the Americans are behind hard cover, so 6s. So that's 2 hits. That's a pin on the American unit at the very least. Can they turn the hits to casualties? 1 casualty, because the Americans are regular, only needing 4s. So that's 1 pin and 1 casualty on the American rifle section. American die, and the sniper team fire again at the medium machine gun on top of hill 123. The sniper fires, 1 shot, needing a 3. That's a miss. American die, and the mortar team fire again at the 88, this time needing a 5. The mortar fires and misses, next time needing a 4. German die, and the Stug pivots and advances down the road and fires its main gun on the American infantry lining the hedge, but it's going to be a 6 to hit. The Stug fires its main gun, needing a 6, +1 for movement and +2 for the American infantry with the intervening hard cover. It's a miss. American die, and the bazooka team runs into one of the ruined buildings and fires at the Stug at long range, needing a 5 to hit. The bazooka team fires and hits. Rolling for damage, needs a 4, 5 or a 6, and it hasn't penetrated, but that's a pin on the Stug. American die, and the rifle section advance through the woods and open fire at the Germans behind the bocage at long range. The Americans open fire. The SMGs are out of range, but they have 10 riflemen and 1 BAR gunner giving 12 shots. They ignore the +1 for advancing, and the Germans are behind bocage, hard cover. So 12 shots, needing 5s. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. That's at least a pin on the Germans. It's a regular unit, now to turn the hits into casualties, needing 4s. And that's 3 casualties, so 1 pin and 3 casualties on the German unit. German die, and the grenadier unit runs up and takes up position behind the bocage. American die, and Captain Hagman issues a snap to, ordering the rifle section and the bazooka team to advance into the woods, while he himself also runs up and joins them in the wood. The last two dice are German, and Oberleutnant Schiefer issues a snap to for the grenadier unit to fire back at the Americans. It passes its order test, loses the pin, and fires back with an LMG and 3 rifles, while he also advances further so he can command the Stug and the section in the next turn. The Grenadiers fire at the Americans. The 3 riflemen go in first, needing 5s for long range and soft cover. That's 1 hit. The light machine gun also fires now, but only needs 4 for soft cover. That's another 3 hits. So that's 4 in total. So that's a pin on the American unit, now to convert them to casualties, needing 4s. That's 1 casualty and 1 pin on that American unit. Well, that's the end of the turn, as the battle begins to intensify and rages all along the German front line. On to turn 5. German die, and Oberleutnant Schiefer issues a snap to, ordering the Stug to fire at the bazooka team in the building. It passes its order test and it will fire with its HE at the unit there. It also orders the Grenadiers to fire at the Americans in the wood. The Stug fires its HE at the building, needing a 3. That's a miss. The Grenadiers fire at the US infantry in the wood, with 3 rifles firing first, needing 5s. That's 1 hit. The light machine gun now also opens fire, only needing 4s. That's another 2 hits. Now time to convert those hits into casualties, needing 4s. And that's 3 casualties, but 1 possible exceptional. No. So another pin and 3 casualties on that American unit. American die. And the mortar team continue to drop rounds on the 88th position, this time needing a 4. The mortar fires. Oh, it's a miss again. 3 required next turn. American die, and the bazooka team in the building fire back at the Stug, needing a 4. The bazooka fires, needing a 4 or more. That's a hit. Now to convert that hit to a damage. Oh, yes, that's damaged. That's a full hit. The bazooka round penetrates, causes damage. And the Stug 3 is destroyed. That's vital for the Americans. The Stug burns, and this could really swing the battle in the favour of the Americans now. German die, and guided by the spotter, the 88 fires a HE round at the Americans hiding behind the bocage, needing a 6. The 88 fires indirect HE, needing a 6. And it's a hit. With a HE of 3, that's 3 automatic kills on the Americans who save on a 4, which means First Lieutenant Lee, his runner, and one of the men from the machine gun teams are instantly killed. And also there's 2 pins on the machine gun team. American die, and the sniper continues to fire at the machine gun team on hill 123, needing a 3 to hit. The sniper shoots, needing a 3, and it's a hit. Can he convert that to a casualty? Needing a 4. He does, and that's the machine gun team wiped out. American die, and the machine gun team that wasn't hit by the 88 and has no pins advances across the road and takes cover behind the bocage. The machine gun team tries to advance but fails its order and goes down. It's a sitting duck for the 88 next turn. American die, and the rifle section tried to fire at the Germans behind the hedge but failed its order and went down. American die, and Captain Hagman issues a snap to. The first unit passes its order test, goes down to 1 pin. The second rifle section advances alongside it, and both are ordered to open fire at the Germans behind the hedgerow. The bazooka team are also ordered to go down. The American section with 1 pin fires first. They've got 8 shots, needing 7s. That's 2 potential. Yes, that's 1 hit, so that's a pin on the unit at least. Can we convert that hit to a casualty? We can, and it's critical. will take the LMG. The second American unit fires. It gets 12 shots, needing 6s. That's one, that's a cock dive. We'll run that again. Nope. So that's one hit, so that's another pin on the unit. Now to convert that to a casualty. Again, another critical one. This time, we'll take the NCO. So that's another pin, and the NCO gone from that unit as well. German die, and the veteran grenadiers fire at the American rifle section behind the bocage. The two light machine guns fire 10 shots, needing 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. So that's another pin on the American unit. Now to convert those hits to casualties, needing 4s. That's 3, 2 of which are potential. Roll again. No. So 3 hits on 3 casualties on the unit and another pin. Now the 3 riflemen fire, needing 6s. No hits. The last die is German, and the grenadiers fire at the American infantry in the woods that have already taken casualties. 5 rifles fires first, needing 5s. That's 1 hit. So that's a pin on the unit, another pin. Can we convert to a casualty? No. That's at least another pin on that unit. Now for the light machine gun. The light machine gun fires 5 times, needing 4s. That's 3 hits. Can we convert those to casualties? That's 1 casualty, possibly exceptional. It is. The NCO will go from that unit. So that's 1 pin and 1 casualty, which is the NCO. Well, that's the end of the turn. And despite things starting well for the Americans, knocking out the Stug, their attack quickly bogged down, with the 88 causing some massive casualties on the left flank, and on the right flank in the woods, again, the Americans being held back by the Germans, who were holding their defensive line. Turn 6, and all to play for. First die is a German die, and the 88 fires again at the medium machine gun team, needing anything but a 1 to wipe it out. 88 fires, and the medium machine gun team is destroyed. American die, and the mortar continues to fire at the 88. Can it knock it out on the last turn? Needing a 3. The mortar fires, and hits, finally, on the last turn. There were 4 figures within the template, all regulars, so 2s and above to kill. And that's 2. 1 possible exceptional. No. So that's 2 casualties and 3 pins on the gun. Probably a little too late though. American die, and the medium machine gun opens fire on the Germans behind the bocage. 5 shots, needed 5s. That's 2 hits. So that's a pin on that unit, but no casualties. American die, and the rifle section passes its order test, loses a pin, and opens fire on the Germans behind the bocage. The Americans open fire 8 shots, needing 6s. No hits. German die, and the grenadiers go to fire back at the Americans, but fail their order test and go down. American die, and the sniper team advance to shoot at the Germans behind the bocage. The sniper shoots, ignoring all modifiers, needing a 3, and it's a miss. German die, and Oberleutnant Schiefer orders a snap 2. The German grenadiers pass their order tests, going down to 1 pin, and will open fire with 3 rifles on the American section in the wood, while he himself runs up towards the 88 to assist it with its morale in the next turn. 3 rifles fire, needing 5s. 1 hit. So that's another pin on that unit. Can it be a casualty? No, but another pin. American die. Captain Hagman issues a snap 2. He orders the bazooka team to go down. He orders the infantry section to open fire on the Germans behind the bocage, and he issues a rally order to the infantry section that had already taken casualties with pins. It passes its order and loses all its pins. The American section opens fire at full effect. 12 shots, needing 6s. That's 1 hit. That's a pin on the German unit. Can they convert that into a casualty? No, but that's 1 pin on the German Grenadiers. German die, and the Grenadiers pass its order test, lose its pin, and fire back at the Americans in the wood. The Germans fire the rifles first. 5 shots, needing 5s. That's 3 hits. The LMG opens fire, 5 shots, needing 4s. Only 1 hit. So that's 1 pin on the unit, and they turn those 4 hits into casualties, needing 4s. That's 2 with 1 potential critical. And it is. The BAR gunner goes. So that's 1 pin and 2 casualties and a critical hit. The last die is an American die, and the bazooka team go down, bringing an end to the American attack and the battle, with the Germans still in possession of Hill 1, 2, 3 and the wood. The game ends. The attack was a big ask for the Americans, and despite a valiant effort, it stalled in Breville and in the woods on the right flank. The Germans still occupy Hill 1, 2, 3, still have the 88, still occupy the wood, and again are in good position to defend and hold off the remnants of the American force should the game have continued. Well, that's the end of my second bolt action battle report. I'm pretty sure, as before, I've made some mistakes. Again, all comments and critique are welcome. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. Thank you, and I look forward to getting my next video out. Probably going to be July time, where again it'll be set in Normandy. I've got some work to do on some buildings and some other figures, and some vehicles, and again hopefully going to try and do a bigger game with a bigger board. But thank you again, and hopefully you'll tune in and watch my videos in the future. Goodbye.